good?
Right now, she's got a miniature drone, and she's sending over. She's got attached to this drone paperwork that she's sending over to this young kid who he's got her. I don't even.
I don't understand what you're saying. So she's good at what she does? It sounds to me like she's pretty advanced if she's using a drone.
It's drunken chaos, but they.
Yeah, but why doesn't she just email the drawing instead of sending it by a drone?
Because it's more. It's liberal. It's more like a party here.
Okay, so what you're saying is they're into having fun, and whatever the latest trend is, they're jumping on it. But they're not really doing their job even in your ad agency. Is that more or less what you're saying?
I'm saying, yes. I'm saying if you walked in here and I told you that these people were ad men and they're working on a project, you would laugh at me. You would say that it couldn't be. And then
You mean it's chaotic like a kindergarten with children who are running amok without any organization, without anyone supervising them? I'll bet they don't listen to anything you say to them, right?
Nothing whatsoever.
So they ignore you. Is that one of the reasons you're mad at them?
Well, I'm not really mad at them because I get paid pretty good. But what they
So wait a minute. How do you keep your job if they're all different than you and they don't listen to you? What do you do?
They, believe it or not, they hit it out of the park for me. I don't know how they do it.
Oh, wait a minute. See, now you're saying something different. You're saying that they're different than you. They're freak show. They're like a Ringling Brothers freak show. They're young maniacs. She's tattooed to death, and yet they hit it out of the park. They produce good work. So that's the end. The end result is what the owners care about, and the client rather, right?
Yeah. They don't.
All right, so in a way, your argument sort of doesn't hold water. What you're saying is you don't like their lifestyle, but they're very creative kids. All right, I'll tell you something. I'm going to send you Countdown to Mecca so you can put it on your desk and really cause a stir. Stay in a line. 18 minutes after the hour. Here's an email. I went in the Barnes & Noble bookstore here in Pensacola, Florida, just off the naval base, to order your book, Countdown to Mecca, and it was nowhere to be found. I asked the B&N clerk, some lady, if they had it in stock or if they sold out, and she said the publisher of the book specifically requested your book, Countdown to Mecca, is not to be available in the Pensacola Barnes & Noble. I told her that seemed highly irregular, and she said, well, it is what it is, and gave me a dirty look. So I guess I'll order online. That comes from Sanford B in Pensacola. If you are having similar experiences in bookstores, I'm serious now, you can send them to savageanswers@gmail.com, which was set up for another reason. Savageanswers@gmail.com. I will forward them to the publisher. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUICOIN. I thought this was either Bono or the other one I mentioned, the guy from England, the gay guy in the Lincoln bedroom. I don't remember his name, with the piano. Or it does sound like Billy Joel, but it isn't. It's a group called Foreigner. I never heard of them, but I heard the song in a car. So it's a funny thing. The last caller from the ad agency in Detroit who called, right? And he's complaining about the kids that work for him. They're like lunatics, and he's using a drone, and they got tattoos, and they're maniac. I mean, all he says, I said this and that. He says, well, they're doing a job. They knock it out of the park for me. So what was the point of his call? Then Robert, my board op, says to me, wait a minute. They're working, and he is calling a national talk show at work? So who's screwing up? It was an interesting call. I kept him on longer than normal. You know that I wanted to hit the kill button because he wasn't talking fast enough for me, right? But as I listened, I heard something under the undertone. I realized there might be something in that call. So there it is. That's all. Next case. Move it along. Line 2, Frank, WABC. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Michael, I heard you say that many liberals are from the 60s and they're running the government at this time, and they don't know their left foot from their right foot, and they don't even know how to run a funeral parlor in the roof. You know, I grew up in northwestern Queens here in New York City, across Manhattan by the East River. And we have a very, very liberal congresswoman here. And
Well, who's your congresswoman? Neil Lowry?
Carolyn Maloney.
Oh, Carolyn the phony.
Uh-huh. And I listened to you carefully, and I assume that maybe there are some Republican conservatives who grew up in the same time period who are running for president right now. And I think maybe they can actually state the liberal policies that...
There was nothing wrong with anyone growing their hair long and experimenting with various things in the 60s, if they were young, embracing the politics of the time, and then changing with time and becoming a full human being 10, 15, 20 years later. The problem is with the psychos who got stuck in the 60s as though they were prehistoric animals that fell into a pit of amber. That's the problem with the 60s mentality. Obama is espousing all the filth of the 60s as though it's something fresh and new. It almost destroyed the country then. It's almost destroying the country now. The man is like a primitive creature that fell into a pit of amber. That's the whole point that I'm saying.
Well, Michael, is there? Can you fumigate this? Because
I can't fumigate it other than by exposing it. I went through the 60s. I had long hair. I was a man who was a plant collector. I took the best modalities of the 60s and I channeled it into something productive. I studied medicine from the alternative medical side. I studied homeopathy. I studied nutrition. I studied botanical medicine. I earned 2 master's degrees and a PhD from the University of California at Berkeley. I searched the world for healing plants. So I didn't just move through the 60s like an observer. I incorporated all the newness of the 60s in my being, and as I evolved, I realized my politics needed to evolve with me. And as I saw what life was doing to me and what liberalism was doing to me in the country, I became more and more conservative. Write it down. That's a full message.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
It's just another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday.
It is your happy talk show host, Michael Savage. I'm in a manic mood today. Tomorrow will be another story. Tomorrow will be Curry Tuesday with a collapse. I'm working on the new male ideal of the pudgy body. I'm eating a piece of eggplant parmesan with chopped garlic on it during the break. It's unbelievable. I don't even care what's in it anymore. I just scrape the cheese off it. It's so good, it's frightening. And I'm not selling it to you. KSFO Online. Gene, welcome. What's on your mind? Go ahead, please.
Rush Limbaugh is the Oprah Winfrey of the GOP. I love you, Dr. Savage. That was wonderful.
No, I didn't say he is. I said, has Rush Limbaugh become the Oprah Winfrey of the Republican Party?
The thought and the concept, it was just overwhelming.
I mean, so I have to listen to one of that crew talk about the Republicans as though they're the Holy Grail and the Democrats are the devil. I can't take it anymore. I've listened to it for 20 years. Look where we are today as a result. And remember, I was not invited to the White House by George Bush. Limbaugh was, so was Hannity, so were other cronies of the Limbaugh cartel. They were feted at the White House. I was not. I've been an independent from the beginning, and I'm proud of it. But I'm not going to sit here and say to you that John McCain is the answer to the Republicans' salvation of America, because that's what they're saying. If you're going to push the Republican Party ideal, then you're pushing the same old, same old, same old. Anyway, I didn't mean to talk about that. What's on your mind, Gene?
Well, the same concept. It's not the Republican Party. It's a concept of a conservative grouping, which is why people, I think, liberals hate or hate you and love Mad Men. They feel as though that Don Draper, who was sort of a good-looking Woody Allen, he was a flawed man, just stumbling through, but really wanted that white picket fence and the little family and whatnot. That was really what he wanted to go through. But they tried to drag him through and show how his ambition, it hurt women, it hurt minorities.
But the same liberals who have an autistic sensibility, who loved Mad Men, if they didn't buy into the propaganda about Michael Savage, would love me the way they love Mad Men. They don't know who I am. They never listened to this show. But they heard because I oppose gay marriage, I'm the devil himself. They heard that because I oppose the lie of global warming, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm an ignoramus. Go down the list. It's all based on prejudice, not reality.
Well, you can't win an argument with a stupid person, and so when you argue with liberals, it's you can't expect.
Let me explain something. The next time you encounter a moron who won't listen to reason, no matter what you show them about the devil in the White House and what he's doing and the liar that he is, They won't listen to you. They won't believe you. You know what you say to them? You know, my friend, a person wants to find hell as a place where there is no reason. You are living in a hell. I'm leaving. Goodbye. That's what I've done. I've done that. You don't have to scream and yell and call them names. If they want to live in a self-imposed hell where there is no reason, just tell them that's where they're living and take a walk. That's it. What's on your mind in addition to this?
I wanted to say also, if you could put up pay sites somehow that we could listen to you on demand, because I miss the fact that there used to be a 7-day archive that I could.
I know. I'm actually working on something else along those lines, which will be separate from the radio show. It'll be Michael Savage Uncensored, where you can subscribe to it, because I'm too constrained, frankly, for what I really want to say. If you actually heard me rage against the machine, I think you'd really understand that you're getting the tip of the iceberg on the show.
But I would enjoy it, and I jones for it.
Oh, you'd enjoy it, all right. Yeah, I can guarantee a lot of people would enjoy the real Michael Savage. It's not too far from what you're listening to. This is the mild version. You're getting a free copy of Countdown to Mecca. Stay on the line. 855-407-282. Let's go to KKOB Radio. Rudy, go ahead, please. You're on the Savage Nation. What's on your mind?
Michael, I was really concerned about this country, especially race relations. My first indication that there was race problems in this country was when I was a young teenager in Southern California. My parents were talking about the black Muslims and all the hate they were fomenting at that time. This is like maybe the early 60s, mid-60s. And further on from there, I remember the race hate, the race vileness that Charles Manson was espousing. He was wanting to start a race war.
Right.
Just wondering what he would think of Obama right now. It's been awful, Michael.
Well, the rhetoric of Obama and Sharpton and Holder is not too far from that of Charles Manson and Manson's vision of stirring up the black population to conduct a race war. Even as near as this weekend, despite the epidemic of killings of police, the devil in the White House went out and attacked the police again. Did you hear that today? Play it again. No one will believe that he did this. He did it. He did it again. The Satan did it again.
That sense of unfairness and powerlessness has helped to fuel the kind of unrest that we've seen in places like Baltimore and Ferguson and New York. It has many causes, from a basic lack of opportunity to groups feeling unfairly targeted by police.
Do you realize what a lie that is? Do you realize he's justifying the looting? He's justifying the burglary that triggered some of this. He's justifying the killing of the police. The very same Satan who just said that, so far as I know, has not apologized for what he did in Ferguson and what he did in Baltimore. Instead, the Satan is doubling down on fomenting racial hatred, in my opinion. I think that's what you're saying. Is that not?
Absolutely, Michael. I'm just a working class dude, and
how could a president continue to push such hatred? The rhetoric is no different, by the way, than that of Al Sharpton or of the Grand Wizard of the who? Who am I talking about? Who's the Grand Wizard of race hatred in America? The Black Panthers. And who's the number two Grand Wizard of racial hatred in America? The Nation of Islam. The Nation of Islam has been putting out this hatred for 35 or 40 years. The Black Panthers have been putting out for 35 or 40 years. The rhetoric of Obama is not much different than theirs.
It's getting real scary, Michael. It's very scary.
He did something else over the weekend. In addition to doubling down on attacking the police and justifying the thugs in the streets, he also demilitarized the U.S. police departments, taking away weapons they had from the U.S. military. And at the same time, he has militarized the military in the United States of America. What is he getting ready for? Many people are very concerned that he's preparing for something astronomically unbelievable, and he'll get away with it unless the people see it coming.
Michael, he's armed the TSA. There's his thugs. There's his jackbooted thugs, his brown shirts, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and they have weapons. They're weaponized, Michael.
You are, Rudy, you're really freaked out over this guy, worse than I think.
I've seen it, Michael. I've seen it. I'm 67 years old. I'm one of your contemporaries. I've seen everything, and it's gotten to a point where it's scary. It's scary. I have grandchildren that live in these urban areas. I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid that they're going to get jumped, beat on the head, just because they're white. It's awful.
How can you say a thing like that? As you well know, the people of color are all downtrodden and oppressed.